By way of a beginning, let us ask ourselves, what is education? Or of all things, what is our ideal of a thoroughly liberal education? Of that education which, if we could begin life again, we would give ourselves. Of that education which, if we could mold the fates to our own will, we would give our children. Well, I know not what may be your conceptions upon this matter, but I will tell you mine, and I hope I shall find that our views are not very discrepant. Well, what I mean by education is learning the rules of this mighty game. In other words, education is the instruction of the intellect and the laws of nature, under which name I include not merely things and their forces, but men and their ways, and the fashioning of the affections and of the will into an earnest and loving desire to move in harmony with those laws. For me, education means neither more nor less than this. Anything which professes to call itself education must be tried by this standard, and if it fails to stand the test, I will not call it education, whatever may be the force of authority or of members upon the other side. It is important to remember that in strictness, there is no such thing as an uneducated man. Take an extreme case. Suppose that an adult man, in the full vigor of his faculties, could be suddenly placed in the world, as Adam is said to have been, then left to do as he best might. How long would he be left uneducated? Not 5 minutes. Nature would begin to teach him through the eye, the ear, the touch, the properties of objects. Pain and pleasure would be at his elbow, telling him to do this and avoid that, and by slow degrees the man would receive an education which, if narrow, would be thorough, real, and adequate to his circumstances, though there would be no extras and very few accomplishments. And if to this solitary man entered a second Adam, or better still, an Eve, a new and greater world, that of social and moral phenomena, would be revealed. Joys and woes compared with which all others might seem but faint shadows would spring from the new relations. Happiness and sorrow would take place of the coarser monitors, pleasure and pain. But conduct would still be shaped by the observation of the natural consequences of actions, or in other words, by the laws of the nature of man. To every one of us, the world was once as fresh and new as to Adam, and then long before we were susceptible to any other mode of instruction, nature took us in hand, and every minute of waking life, brought its educational influence, shaping our actions into rough accordance with nature's laws, so that we might not be ended ultimately by too gross disobedience. Nor should I speak of this process of education as past for anyone, be he as old as he may. For every man, the world is as fresh as it was at the first day, and as full of untold novelties for him who has the eyes to see them. And nature is still continuing her patient education of us in that great university, the universe, of which we are all members, nature having no test acts. Those who take honors in nature's university, who learn the laws which govern men and things and obey them, are really the great and successful men in the world. The great mass of mankind are the whole, who pick up just enough to get through without much discredit. Those who won't learn at all are plucked, and then you can't come up again. Nature's pluck means extermination. Thus the question of compulsory education is settled so far as nature is concerned. Her bill on that question was framed and passed long ago, but like all compulsory legislation, that of nature is harsh and wasteful in its operation. Ignorance is visited as sharply as willful disobedience. Incapacity meets with the same punishment as crime. Nature's discipline is not even a word and a blow, and the blow first. But the blow without the word, it is left to you to find out why your ears are boxed. The object of what we commonly call education, that education in which man intervenes, and which I shall distinguish as artificial education, is to make good these defects in nature's methods, to prepare the child to receive nature's education, neither incapably nor ignorantly, nor with willful disobedience, and to understand the preliminary symptoms short, all artificial education ought to be an anticipation of natural education. And a liberal education is an artificial education which has not only prepared a man to escape the great evils of disobedience to natural laws, but has trained him to appreciate and to seize upon the rewards which nature scatters with as free a hand as her penalties.